Welcome everyone, this is Claude Alpha. Today I have the IDC 26 Swiss round 5. I am playing Water Darkness Aggro against toxicSAM at the top of your screen, who is playing Water Darkness Fire Aggro with Chimeras. toxicSAM doesn't have a turn to play, unfortunately for him. However, I do have one in the form of Spinning Terror the Wretched. My deck has many 2-drop creatures, so the likelihood of me not having a creature on turn 2 is highly unlikely. At least he does have an Aqua Hulkus for turn 3. I follow it up with a Jewel Spider on turn 3 so that I may evolve Melnia into Spin Slicer instantly on turn 4. However, I get unlucky and hit into a Shield 1 Aqua Surfer, which could spell GG for me. He even bounces the Spinning Terror with Spiral Gate and summons Cook Polon, and now it looks quite bad for me. But I also get lucky and get a Shield 1 Giga Balza and a Shield 2 Spiral Gate, which balances the fact that I just broke into an Aqua Surfer in Shield 1. And I go for instant Crystal Spin Slicer to kill the Aqua Surfer. So that's how you counter Shield 1 Aqua Surfer, guys. You just need some shield triggers of your own. Summons Giga Balza, discarding Jewel Spider, goes in with Aqua Hulkus, which I don't know why you would do that, because now I can just revenge kill it with Crystal Spin Slicer. And I can even go in with Giga Balza. toxicSAM is thinking here, maybe he's going to cast Searing Wave, or maybe he wants to summon something. Yeah, he decides to go for Searing Wave. And he's pushing for a shield with Giga Balza, and I get a Spiral Gate out of this shield, which I can bounce the Giga Balza, which means I can apply the pressure with Spin Slicer on the opponent instead of removing the creature. Lucky Ball drawing into a Jewel Spider, and now I can apply more pressure and leave him on one shield. Of course, I'm also on one shield, but he would need to have 3 Pyro Fighters in hand, which he doesn't have because he would definitely have summoned them straight away. What he needs right here is a bounce, creature or spell, and a shield trigger. That's an Aqua Surfer bounces one of my attackers, and now if he doesn't have a shield trigger that can save him and stop my second attacker, I take game 1. He does have a shield trigger, but it's only a Giga Balza, so I finish him off with Crystal Spin Slicer and we go to game 2. toxicSAM is starting again. Let's see if he will have a turn 2 creature this time. He does have a turn 2 creature this time. Is it a Cook Polon? No, it's an Emerald. He is thinking of what shield to set. but he just ends his turn, which means he doesn't have anything he wants to set, and setting a bluff could be risky, as you could potentially take an actual shield trigger away from the shields. Summon a Spinning Terror, which is probably the best creature to summon on turn 2 against aggressive decks. And he goes in with Emerald, which makes it vulnerable to being counterattacked. Aqua Hulkus turn 3, one of the best turn 3 plays in the game. For mana, maybe a Giga Balza, but it's only a Lucky Ball without the effect, so I suppose that was his best play. Clears my Spinning Terror as revenge for me killing his Emerald. But I go an eye for an eye again and instantly evolve Crystal Spin Slicer to kill the Gigapi Ponto. Not going in with Aqua Hulkus because that would just leave it vulnerable to Lucky Ball. Summons another Gigapi Ponto, breaks with Lucky Ball, which gives me a Giga Balls out of shield, and also makes Lucky Ball vulnerable to Crystal Spin Slicer. I summon Aqua Hulkus Melnia and kill his Lucky Ball. Now I could go in with Aqua Hulkus and Giga Balza to leave him on 3 shields and potentially threaten lethal next turn. But I'm probably afraid of hitting into triggers too early and to be revenge killed by Gigapi Ponto. He goes in with Gigapi, I get a Spiral Gate to bounce his Cook Polon. This turn I can summon more creatures and kill his Gigapi Ponto with Crystal Spin Slicer, and then I'm free to go into his shields. He's really thinking about this one, and it is an Aqua Surfer again, just like in game 1, which is a bit unfortunate, though not as bad as game 1. Here I'm thinking if I want to go in with Giga Balza, and I probably should, because this way if he casts Searing Wave next turn he will leave himself on only 1 shield instead of 2 shields. So there is still a chance for me to finish him off if he's on 1 shield. However, I get unlucky again, hitting into a trigger. If he's thinking so long, it's either a Spiral Gate or an Aqua Surfer. And it is another Aqua Surfer, which puts him in a really good position if he has Searing Wave. And unfortunately for me he does have Searing Wave, which clears the whole field, and now those surfers are free to go into my shields. I need a shield trigger of my own or some Aqua Guard to get back from this. Unfortunately, I have none of that. There is nothing in this hand that can get me back. So we will go on to game 3 shortly once my past self realizes there's nothing else that can be done. And yes, we go to game 3, where I get to go first. I even have a turn 1 Aqua Guard, which is quite useful against aggressive decks because it can prevent counter swings into creatures which just attacked, or it can act as a bait waiting to be evolved at any point. Nice to have the best turn 2 creature on board. But he also has the same creature, Spinning Terror the Wretched. And I summon turn 3 Seti Balls, which I decided to take into this version instead of the 4th Lucky Ball. But I took it out after this tournament because I think Lucky Ball is just much better overall. We see another Spinning Terror and he goes in for a shield. Turn 4 Melnia and Spinning Terror. And now I can break 2 shields with Spinning Terror and Seti Balls. And yeah, if he doesn't have a Spiral Gate here, he can only clear one of my creatures, which still lets me threaten lethal next turn. So we only see a Giga Balza tries to kill Spinning Terror. I block the attack with Aqua Guard. Now he can kill my Seti Balls, which throws me a card. Now I have the choice of either evolving Melnia into Crystal Spin Slicer or bouncing one of his creatures with Spiral Gate. And I think the best choice is to bounce one of his creatures. Say for example he has Magnus in hand and I bring into a creature trigger. If I leave the creatures on board, he will have 5 creatures and can potentially threaten lethal. This way, by bouncing one creature, I can ensure that he won't be able to threaten lethal next turn. And now I'm free to go in. Let's see, that is a last trigger, but it's only a Giga Balza, not enough to save him, so I take game 3. Which means I am qualified to top 8. So I take this match. Stay tuned.